Good evening, folks. How are we all? Welcome to another live stream. Had a really chilled day today, really, because obviously I've had all my electrics looked at, and as I say, Houston, we have got a problem, but yeah, some of my wiring's not what it's supposed to be, but it's all safe now, and they've got to come and do a proper rewire at some stage. Good evening, Richard. So I did a pre-record. Everything was done. So if he came while I was in the middle, I wouldn't lose anything. So everything's all right. So this is the first live stuff I've done today. So had a really chilled out day. Been doing lots behind the scenes though. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the scores on the doors and what you've been watching. So this week, 1,530 views. Pretty cool. 6 brand new subscribers. So welcome if it's your first time on watching or your first time looking in. We do this every Thursday. Usual suspects are here. We all have a good time. So what's you've been watching? Well, number 3 from Wednesday, REM's album ranking, 53. Number 2, retro ranking. New Seekers. I've got a story to tell you about New Seekers when we've done this. 93. But at number 1 is 1980s with my good friend Richard. 141 people. Can I just apologise for the poor quality? I had a Zoom update and I've always set it on high definition and it just reverted it back to standard. So that, and also I forgot to put up an ABBA cover for Richard. I don't know how I missed that, but all I can say, Richard, I'm sorry I cocked up. So Wally of the week for Ian for not paying attention. So what about in the last 28 days? 22 new subscribers, 5,548. Coming in number 3 in the last 28 days. Retro ranking, New Seekers, 130. Thank you, Richard. Coming in number 2 is the 1980s number 1 albums, Richard, at 141. But at number 1 is the 1970s albums with Richard. Now, we're doing 90s on Saturday. This time next week, could Skinner and McCook hold all 3 places in the 28 days poll? Who knows? Overall, 131,051 views, 635 subscribers. No change in the pecking order. Jethro Tull albums ranked number 2. Derek Riggs still at number 2, and Status Quo out there by over 3,000 views at 6,354. Last week's Battle of the Debuts was won by Deep Purple. This week we've got 2 composers, keyboard wizards extraordinaire, Jean-Michel Jarre and Vangelis. I went with Vangelis. Vangelis is winning at the moment. Now for some sad news. We've lost 4 musicians this week. We lost Barrett Strong, the Motown trailblazer and hitmaker, passed away aged 81. Guitarist Tom Verlaine, who was from New York, who was in the rock band Television, has died 73. Also, Donnie Marisco from the Jaggers has died, and Charlie Thomas from the Drifters. Lost one of the Drifters. So sad. And the other big news this week, Ozzy has announced that he's not going to tour anymore. You know, his health is not as good as it used to be, and I think it's a good decision. You know, if he can go on into the studio and make a few albums, that's great. But you know, your touring days are over. And respect to the man, and thank you for what you did on stage. So, what's happening next week? Well, Saturday, it's another Skinner McCook production. We're going to look at the number one albums of the 1990s, which I found easier than the 80s for some reason. I don't know if it's because there was less to choose from, but that's on Saturday. Monday's album ranking. It's continuing on from Mahogany Rush. We're going to look at Frank Marino's solo albums. There's not too many, but they're worth a mention. Classic album next week. We're going to go to the 90s, being that we're doing the 90s on Saturday. So I thought I'd do a classic album on review, and I'm going to do Lenny Kravitz. Are you going my way? It's a really good album. Tuesday, we've got part 3 of the John Mitchell story. And it's a band that he formed with, it's a bit of a super group. You've got people from It's Bites, Marillion, and that is Keno. Very short career, but made some solid albums. Now, retro ranking next week is the David Crosby tribute show. I'm going to pick my favourite songs from all across David's career. Next week's marathon, we're going to have a bit of a prog day. Going to look at German prog band Eloy and their collection. Next week's Battle of the Debuts, we are going to go to the 80s. And we're going to have a look at the first 2 albums of Depeche Mode and Tears for Fears. Should be a good battle. Picks and mix next week. We're going to have that Wander Down the Sidewalk. So we're going to be looking at the US Top 10 on February the 9th, 1972. Friday, live album ranking. Now, I told you last week that it was tomorrow, and I've total wally the last week. This week is definitely Gentle Giant next week. This week it's Arena Part 2. And new albums reviews next week. It's the one we've all been waiting for. I know myself and Mick have. And it is Uriah Heep's Chaos and Colour. I have been playing it to death this week. Looking forward to doing that one. It's a great album, that's all I'll say. And also, this will be a surprise to Mastermind Dave because it's not on the list and I forgot to add it to it. It's the Smashing Pumpkins and Autumn Act 2. So I'll be looking at that after watching a certain video. I wonder. Yes, that's what I thought you would do, Mick. All I'm going to say is this band just get better and better with age. Okay, let's have a look in the work in progress. James Bond, we've at 18 that we've got up to Tomorrow Never Dies. So that's my choice of movie this weekend, a bit of Tomorrow Never Dies, the second Pierce Brosnan movie. So looking forward to that one. Good evening, Stephen. Gary Newman, 15 of 19, getting through them nicely. Mr. Bowie, 16 of the 26, 10 more to listen to. Van der Graaf Generator, 4 of 13. As I said last week, heavy going. The Cause, 6 of 7, nearly done the Cause. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizards, 5 of 20. I've really enjoyed listening to them albums so far. Ash, 7 of 8, nearly done them. No, it's not tomorrow, David. I forgot to tell you, I changed it because I've been listening to so much other stuff this week for another show we are doing. So I'll explain in a moment. Jeff Beck, I've done 6 of the 14. Dave Brock, from Hawkwind, 3 of 6. Nick Turner, 2 of 11. Life Signs, I've listened to 2 of the 3. The Script, 3 of 6. Completed and ready to go at some stage. We have got Godley and Creme, the Temperance Movement, and Kepler 10. Although they've only got 2 albums, I've really enjoyed listening to them 2 albums. Okay, Wally's of the Week. We've got a few to talk about now. And this, as you knew, I did the New Seekers. Now, I had 2 people from Holland that give me a hard time because when I spoke at the beginning, I just say, formed by da-di-da-di-da in 1969 and listed the original members. Now, I know that there's been 22 members of New Seekers. But if I spent all day talking about who came in and when, we'd be there forever. So I just carried on, and I had 2 people just absolutely keep saying about people. Dave put a comment, I put a comment, and they still went on it. But the best thing about that one was someone actually subscribed and created a channel on YouTube just because they could have a go at me. And I think that's brilliant. That's dedication for slagging someone off, having to create a channel so you could have a go at me. Fantastic. So that was interesting. And then someone today put a comment on REM. That's not a bit of a wally, but because I said that his favourite song is Perfect Circle. Fair enough. It's his all-time favourite song, which is great because we all listened to the same stuff and thought that everyone's favourite was the same. Be a bit boring in life, wouldn't it? Now, I don't like the song. I think it's dull, dingy, and it wants me to go and get the antidepressants out. I just don't like the song. Apparently, I must have the soul of a soul of stone. Well, if you're watching this, mate, I haven't. I just don't like the song. I'm not a great lover of Bohemian Rhapsody. People know this. It's just choice, isn't it? There we go. Anyway, dates for your diary. 18th of February. It's a Saturday. We have a special on Mike Oldfield, and it's Mike Oldfield through the decades. And it'll be myself, Mr. McCook, and young Joe Jamfrey from Joe's Vinyl Universe. So it'll be 3 of us, which is, I've never done 3, so this could be interesting. So we're going to go through our favourite albums of the decade, of each decade that Mike's put out, and a wild card. So that's the 18th of February. And the other thing that's happening, and it's happening on the 1st of March, I'm going to be setting my first contest. And it's going to be called Let Me Introduce Myself contest. And this is going to be, remember the old days of cassettes, and we used to put a tape mix together for people. So the challenge will be to produce 30 minutes of music. And it's got to be under or just on 30 minutes of one side of a C60 that defines you and your music. That'll run on from the 1st of March. Closing date of that will be the 29th, and I will make the winner will be drawn on live stream on the 30th. But I'll do a video just to tell you what the rules and regs are. But that's coming up as well. So get your thinking hats on. And there is a prize. There'll be a prize of an Amazon voucher. So it's not just a bit of fun, it's a bit of serious competition, folks. And you'll have there'll be some really good people coming up with some great music. Mine's already done, it's ready to go. But and if you want to have a go yourself, if you've got Spotify, use Spotify to put it together because you get all your timings. So you have to add this out there, put that in. Really, really good. So looking forward to that. I will keep you informed and have a go. Right, I'm going to click on that. 50 people. You cheeky monkey. Anyway, I've got a really nice beer tonight. And what I like about it even better, looks on the front of the can. Oh, choo-choo train. This is called Steam Express Pale Ale from Devon. And this is how I think that's either a manor or a hall. I can't quite tell because it's a bit blurry. It's a very nice beer. I'm actually going to keep that can because I'm sad. Yes, the prize will be a £30 Amazon voucher for you to spend on whatever you like. So I'll go through the rules and regulations. I just need to talk to, have another chat to my good friend Mr. McCook on Saturday about the nitty gritties. So yeah. So that's my week. What's Rocky with? Well, I know you always ask about Rocky. What's Rocky been up to? Well, Rocky's not been up to much this week, apart from demanding stuff and snoring, getting me out of bed in the middle of the night for weeds. You can pack that little game in. Anyway, bit of controversy tonight, I think. I'm sure everybody's watched that Sam Smith that they have brought out. Yes, I've got that. I've got. I mean, each to their own, but they. I mean, back in the day when I used to work in learning disabilities and that, if anyone could refer to themselves as they usually have got serious issues. But yeah, I haven't watched. I've only seen clips of it because I don't want to see that. That is gross. I mean, it's like me doing the same. I mean, I wouldn't mind. Oh, what did the shark say? Well, apparently, one of my switches was faulty, so it sort of does your your washing machine on the wall without going into the back. So the electrician come round and he wanted to switch isolate, and apparently my lights are attached to my fridge. So the whole of this lighting system in here works off the same piece as my fridge. So yeah, he's made it safe, but he's not impressed. So if everything goes bang, but it shouldn't do, he said, because my fridge is one of them grade A ones, one of the low energy ones, so it shouldn't cause any problems. So thing. Anyway, as you can see, the backdrop's a little bit different this week, isn't it? Let's pull that across and see how good you are. This will test your music knowledge, folks. Now, these are all the inner sleeves where the actual record goes into. Does anyone want to have a bash where these have come from? Two are very easy, I think. I thought I'd test your brains this week. Have you noticed he's a little bit quiet? Because he's having a wash at the moment. He's looking at me because he'll start soon. I'm sure he will. Yeah, Richard, you're right. That's innuendo, and that's a toon baby. It is very blurry, yeah. Let's get my big head out the way. I'm just thinking, all I'll give you a clue. Every cover on there, the band or the artist has been featured on this channel. Well done, Zeb. Yeah, that's Maiden. That is from the Power Slave and Phil Collins. Yeah, the live album, Seriously Live. So that's four. That's four done. It's just these two at the end. Which might perplex you. I'll give you more cues. One of the covers is of a band that we featured on, I think, the very first story I did. And the other one is a band that had a big. Oh, well done, Stephen. Yes, Europe. That is out of the second, well, not the second album, but Out of This World. And I've actually got that on red vinyl. Lower right side. No, that's Europe, mate. So it's this one here. Where's that one from? Toughy, that one is. And if it helps you, that's no one in the band. There's no one in there. There's just no members of the band. But when you get it, you'll get the two ladies. What it represents. Well, another clue. Well, I'll put it this way. I'm listening to. Dave will know this. So Dave, quiet. I'm actually listening to one of the people that was in that band. Their solo live albums at the moment for her future show. Well, let's give you another clue. This was this guy, the main guy. Well, two of the guys were in another band together, and they formed this one with someone else that's been in two or three bands as well. The other clue is there's rumours that they are getting back together. Obviously, minus a couple of people because one's not very well and one's no longer with us. So that may narrow it down. Nope. Good guess, but not right. So what are you guys' thoughts on the Sam Smith video? What I have seen of it, I think it's probably one of the worst music videos I have ever seen. I think I'm actually going to beat you this week, you guys. You always, but I think that's why I put it up there in the prominent place. What else can I give a few clues? Vangelis I think Vangelis will win. because I think A Deserted Place is very similar to the stuff I did on my PlayStation, very basic. But they both went on and did fantastic stuff. I'm looking forward to next week's Depeche Mode and Tears for Fears. And in this one, it's 75% to Vangelis in the poll here. But last week, Deep Purple won by a country mile. It's probably one of the biggest gaps in the battles. Now, in March, we're going to do another twist on the Battle of the Debuts, and it's going to be called. I'm still going to call it the Battle of the Debuts because it's the thing, but it's called the Platinum Years. So I'm going to put up two bands from the same genres again, that their biggest selling albums, because they've all go plat. Most of these are platinum ones, so we could come up with some really good ones, and it doesn't matter what year, it's got to be like their best-selling platinum album. I've got a couple that are lined up will divide us all, I think, but that's what it's all about. So, yeah, so we're going to have another Battle of the Debut special, I think, because the one we did before Christmas, the I've Gone Solo, you seem to like that. No, it was not. I think it was his third or fourth. Dave will tell you, because there was a couple of more. But you're right. You're sort of right in certain ways, Ralph, because the Deserted Palace was only. I don't think I don't know if it had a broad release, but it is available. So Muggins here has got it. Got it at a record fair. Oh, close. But not the champagne, Richard. Right, what is the time now? It is 8:30. If no one has come up with it by 8:45, I will tell you. One of my favourite bands. In fact, this guy is one of my favourite singers, whatever band he's been in. He's even performed with another of my favourite bands for a little while, and they made a record. And it's the only studio album this band had made since they sort of split up. Oh, well done, Richard. You got the group. What album? You got the band, but which is the group? I think mine cost a £5, Ralph. And that was what? 3-4 years ago? But I know that it's quite pricey. It was about as rare as Rocking Doo Doo. Oh, well done. So, yeah. So you got it half right. It's actually Rough Diamonds, that cover. An album that I picked up at a record fair for the measly price of $1.99. Right, we'll have that. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's a good album. I'm looking forward to another record fair. I've actually got a little pot that I put money in it. It's for record fairs now. It was the last one I went to. I could have spent a fortune. So, oh, excellent. Yeah, I'm off to a gig tomorrow night. I'm off to see a tribute band. I'm off to see an AC/DC tribute band. And then next Saturday, I'm off to see the Queen Extravaganza. About 2 weeks on the trot. And then next Friday, I've been dragged off. No, I'm not being dragged off. I'm going to. We got a local radio DJ here in Northampton called Bernie Keith, who's a fab little man. He plays some great music on his show. He basically must play his record collection, and it's all the songs that us guys like. And he does like a handbag disco type thing every month. So Lee, myself, and my good mate Gary and his good lady are all off to a bit of a glam disco on next weekend. Looking forward to that. Listen to some 80s and 90s disco music, having a bit of a groove, which I'm looking for. Looking forward to that. Sort of cringing at some of the rubbish as well. I'm not taking a handbag, mate. I might take some pictures of the evening. I don't know. Yeah, I'll report back to you guys though how it goes. Yeah, I'll tell you what I have watched on Dave's recommendation this week. Now, War of the Worlds, I've got the original DVD that come out with Justin Hayward on it and Russell Watson and the Richard Burton hologram. Now, on Sky Arts, they had the newer version on it with Liam Neeson. What did I think of the remake? I think it's great. They've taken it on from the original one, which is great. But what they've done with it this time is really, really good. That's given me an idea. Yes. No, it was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I like all the extra little animations I've done as well. Really good. I can't believe that Herbie Flowers is still playing the bass in that band, though. I mean, he must be 80-something now, Herbie Flowers. Unbelievable, that man is. But it wouldn't be the same without that boom, 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 boom. Very distinctive bass. Herbie Flowers. Seen him a few times in Sky, which is pretty good. Yeah, so check it out. It's on Sky Arts, and it's available on the replay type thing if you got Sky. 84! Good grief! And he's still playing. And he was standing up. He wasn't even sitting down. My God. What an amazing guy. Great musician. I mean, I love it when he used to play the tuba. I have. I've actually heard the one that went out in America and scared the living daylights. And I've also got a good one on audio, which is pretty good. It mixes. It's like a play, but the music is actually the Jeff Wayne music. It's fantastic. That's on Audible. Yeah, that percussionist, that young lady, she was pretty awesome. Talking of percussionists, now this week I did on Ladies' Day, Sina Doring from Germany, the drummer that does all the covers. So our politeness on her Instagram page, I said, hello, I'm doing a review of your Chi Might. And I thought, I won't get nothing. And I had a notification on Instagram. Normally, it's either from two people, well, three. It's either from Echo 7 or Steph from Echo 7 or Joe. But no, this was a like from Sina. So, yeah. Well chuffed. Well chuffed. If you haven't checked that out, I have put her link into her page, but I'm sure a lot of you have seen Sina. Oh, he's finally woken up again. What do you want? You want this? You want it? Yeah. Well, yeah, then. They're disgusting. But he loves them. Yes, he's not been a happy bunny today because he had to get shut in the bedroom for about 3/4 of an hour while the electricians. Oh yeah, I forgot. I knew he was a part of T-Rex, but I forgot that he wrote Clive Dunn's Grandad. I loved him when he was it Blue Minx, The Bannerman, and Melting Pot. And of course, I love him when he was in Sky. He was one of the ones that stayed through. Barbara O'Reilly, yeah. She's a big Keith Moon fan because one of the videos on her channel, she comes over to London to do a little tribute thing to Keith Moon. He did, didn't he? Yes. I've reached the stage of David Bowie listening to the albums, to some of them mid-80s ones, which are, to me, the ones that come after Let's Dance, a bit hit and missy for me. Yeah. But I knew they got better. Yeah, I've been doing a bit of research into for the live album rankings. I've got lots of live albums that are one-offs from a band. They only made the one, so I've put together a list. I think I've got 15 at the moment of one-off live albums. These are my collection. I'm not going through the thing. I should just go through my collection. Yeah, it's not a very good period, is it, Richard? I'm so glad though that he came back strong towards the end of his career. I mean, I love his last album. I think it's a super album. I think with that the middle period, that period, Richard, I think there's one or two songs on albums that are good, and the others are a little bit mediocre. Yeah, I had one more listen to another good band today, Jay Giles Band, because they're up very soon for an album ranking. So while I was just putting together the final bits of it, giving a quick listen so it's fresh in my mind and making me notes. So I've had a bit of a Jay Giles Band day today, which is pretty cool. Forgot how good they were. That was a tough one as well because apart from one or two albums, the most of it is brilliant. Yeah, I'll quite agree with you, Ralph. Although I do like Blue Jean, best thing on there. But there'll be Bowie fans out there that'll think that everything by Bowie is brilliant. Most 90%. See you Saturday, Richard. Thank you for dropping in. Always a pleasure to see you. Yes, I think there's a lot of them bands of that era are very good, Stephen. I think Jay Giles Band had the right idea and packed it all up in 1984. What I like about Jay Giles Band is when they've done quite a lot of covers, but they're covers that no one else has ever done. I just love the early Jay Giles Band. Well, it's most of their 70s album. It was so tough ranking them because I love playing all of them. I just love that bluesy boogie thing. And what I think adds to the Jay Giles Band is I love his name, Magic Dick. I think he's a fantastic. Riding the Storm Out, great song. Yeah, totally agree, Mick. I think they're on the list. Have we got that? Is Aria Speedwagon in the laundry list? I'm sure it is because I think I put loads of these in right at the very beginning. I'm sure Dave will go and have a look. As you know, I don't know what's in this laundry list and what isn't. Yep, 60. Yeah, they'll be coming out soon because we are getting a little bit. What I do with the ones for marathons because they're the ones that I need to do in a lot of advance because when you do 13 or more albums, it takes a little while to get through them. So I'm halfway through a couple. So I've always got ones ready to go, and I think that one will be one of them. Now we've been talking about them. They're way down the list. Oh dear. Might have to bring them up the list then. I don't know what's on that bit of the list, to be quite honest. See, I'm the last person you ask about the laundry list. I just go to it. What can I have out? I usually say, Camelot, yes, they have, Stephen. I'm sure Dave will confirm that. That's albums, folks, not bands. As you see, I've got plenty of listening to do. The thing is, I haven't just got the stuff in your laundry list to listen to. I have to listen to new albums as well. I mean, I listen to them new albums. I put it on every day for a week, so I can get really into it. Plus, I have to listen to stuff for the retro rankings, classic albums, the Battle of the Debuts. So there's lots of albums I listen to. Yeah, it's about time we did some more symphonic rock. I think I've got some in the completed list, so I'll have a look. Because next week I start putting together March's schedule. Need to get to the middle of the week, and because that February is a short month, I need to get my skates on. And plus, I have to watch the odd DVD and watch James Bond as well. Nearly finished. I don't know what I'll do after I've watched the James Bond movies. I usually watch them sometime over the weekend. Good grief, someone's voted for Jean-Michel Jarre. There's Jean-Michel Jarre films out there. Yeah, I think I would, Stephen. There are some bands I listen to. It's so hard. I sort of get my list done and I look at it and go, I mean, the one that's really been teasing me this week is getting ready for the Decades Mike Oldfield with Richard and Joe. The 70s is in stone. The 80s is in stone. The 90s is. It's the 2000s that I am faulting on. I've got 2 albums and I can't make up my mind yet. It's so tough to listen to some of these and go, which one's better? Well, all I'll say, if it doesn't make the decade, it'll definitely be in the other one. Will be in the wild card, I think. So I shall keep listening. It's terrible when I have to listen to one of my favourite musicians all the time. Hard work, you see. Terry Luttrell. Is that? Oh, that's the name of the singer, right? Yeah, I do. I don't know how I'm going to go. I really don't. I can see it going right down to the very day we record it. One minute I think, yeah, that one's better, and then I listen to the other one again and go, no, I prefer this one. Oh, good evening, Rob. And just for your benefit, Rob, I'm going to be launching my first contest on March the 1st. And it's called Getting to Know You. And my contest, I'll let you in because I've told everyone else. I'm going to put together, well, I have put together 30 minutes of music. Remember the old cassettes, Rob? I've put a mix together of 30 songs that define you in your music. Oh, good man. Thank you, Rob. Richard said you would. Let me introduce yourself. That was it. That's what I said, didn't I? Yeah, so again, for Rob's benefit, it will start. I'm going to put the video up on the 1st. Entries will close on the 29th, and we'll do a live draw on the live stream. Yeah, I've done mine already, all ready to go. I think I've got it down to 29 minutes and 41 seconds. It's well chuffed for that. Can't go over the 30. You can go under, but you can't go 30 because you'd run out of tops. Yeah, because if in the old days, if you went over 30 minutes, you just go da-di-dap, and then ping, it'd turn out. But then they had that new. You remember when they brought in the cassette player that you didn't have to take out the cassette and it just played on the other side. I used to hate that in the days when you used to do the dodgy concerts off the radio. When you'd be looking down at the thing and then it'd go ping and you'd go and so you'd miss about. Oh, a good man, Rob. Yeah, I shall be putting bits up on the channel and in the community as well, on my community. But the more we get, the more fun we can have. And there is a prize, a £30 Amazon voucher to go and spend on anything you like. It doesn't have to be music related, but I'm sure it will be. Oh, you're an absolute star. I'll do that. I've not done the thumbnail yet, but once the thumbnail's up, if you want to copy it and put it into your community, Rob, feel free, mate. That's one of the things I'll be probably doing this weekend is creating my thumbnail for my. Oh, good man, Stephen. It'd be nice if some of my subscribers have a go. I've just got to talk with Richard. I'm sure Rob will tell you how it works, how you put your entries in, because he's done loads. I know, because I've been doing my research. I've been watching Rob and Richard's. I've been watching other people, so I'm sort of getting the idea. I think you have to put it in your thing in the bottom and all that. Yeah, looking forward to this. You know, bit of networking. Put myself about a bit. Yeah, I had fun doing mine. I just pulled up Spotify and kept putting tracks in, looking at the top at the time. No, that's wrong. And I wanted to include music that sort of is me. I think I've done it. I think I've done it. I've cheated a little bit. I've used edited versions of some songs because if I had the whole song in. Oh, thank you, Rob. You're such a nice man. Yeah, it's a. I think it's like most things. You know, the first one I want to get it perfect. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, unfortunately, and it was like Saturday's thing where I show with Richard. I didn't like the look of it. I didn't like anything about it. I enjoyed doing it. The content was good, but it was the way it came out, because you get an update on Zoom and it just throws everything back into default. So I've altered that. So this Saturday should be in glorious high definition again. Well, I'm a sort of a happy bunny with the cricket. Although we lost the series, but good to see Jofra Archer back doing the business. And this weekend, the serious stuff starts, doesn't it, folks? Six Nations. I've seen Steve's. It's the 90s #1 albums, our favourite 90s #1 albums. Then we're having a break because the following Saturday, it's Mike Oldfield Through the Decades with Richard and another good lad called Joe, who's got from Joe's Universal Vinyl. Which one? But I found the 90s quite easy because there wasn't much to choose from. But the Mark Oldfield one's proving difficulty. Now, for those of you who don't know Joe, he's got a channel called Joe's Vinyl Universe. He's in his 20s, but if you look at some of the stuff on the thing, you thought he was a lot older. I mean, the guy's a gentle giant. Which is pretty cool. He likes Rush, Mike Oldfield. So go and check. That's another channel to go out if you like a little bit of different, and give him some support. Talking of subscribers, I had a message from Charles White. He hasn't been on. He's had a few issues at his end, but he says he'll be back very shortly. God, lots of crap in 1990s. But I did manage to find 10 and 3 bubbling unders. So I think Richard's struggling with the 60s because he can't. He's got this thing where he just puts in one album from one in. But I mean, I found that I've managed to do 60s albums, #1s, and there's not many There's no repeats. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying listening to Rush. But with Rush, when you get to the 90s bit, when Geddy Lee decided that I prefer to play my synthesizer than my Rickenbacker bass. But with Camel, it's all the same all the way through. Funky stuff. Have you played any Gentle Giant, Rob? That'll blow your brains out. Because that's really one hoopy band of prog. Oh, God, forgot about that, Mick. What was he thinking? Suppose he tried to be hit with it. But how? Oh, excellent, Rob. I'm so chuffed. Well, you'll like next Wednesday's marathon. It's German prog band Eloy. I had some hoopy stuff, and then the Van der Graaf Generator as well's coming up. There's always a good smidgen of prog on this channel. As Charles White calls me, Professor Prog. Eloy R. Ace. And some great covers as well. I mean, Rodney Matthews did some. Unfortunately, like most bands during the 80s, they sort of... You're a prog virgin. Wow. The idea is you've got to grow your hair really long, wear a caftan coat, and when you go to gigs, you have to put the LP under your arm and sit on the floor cross-legged and be transfixed by the music. That's that's how people look at prog. I don't know how I got into prog really, because no one in my family is really into prog. Well, my brother likes Yes, but he only likes certain things, and he doesn't like Gentle Giant. He doesn't like Camel, but he likes Jethro Tull, and he likes one or two ELP. Now that's something I listen to, Rob. A bit of ELP. Then you got. Yeah, I just don't know where it come from. I really don't. I got into prog round about, must have been 82, 83, really into prog. The first real Genesis. I mean, the first real proggy album I heard by them was the Selling England by the Pound, and I only heard that because a friend's dad had got it. And I went round his house one day and he was playing the Firth of Fifth, and I just got transfixed by that song. And like a good mate's dad, he put it on cassette for me. And that was it. And when he said, "Do you like that?" He said, "Do you want to have a listen to something else?" And he did me Foxtrot. So that was my way in. And then, of course, come Dark Side of the Moon, it all came at once. I was listening to all this great prog stuff. I mean, I've heard of Pink Floyd, of course, because of The Wall. But then when I didn't hear the thing. But the one that really got me was Marillion. So, and Tubular Bells. Yeah, I was talking to Dave about this. My dad got, that's the only real thing that my dad, it's the only Mike Oldfield album that my dad brought was Tubular Bells. And I remember listening to that when he first brought it, and I just loved it. And it was me that decided that I wanted to listen to more Mike Oldfield. And of course, he liked Portsmouth and Induced to Dolby, which I can never say properly. Lee Thomas give me how to pronounce it, but you know that all that. But it was me. And then all of a sudden, just exploded. And when I started working, that's when I really went mad. That's why I've got the collection I have now. Well, I'm not saying what made my tape, so there. But I like discovering new prog now. Like one of my favourite newer bands, a band called Sky Architect. I think they're brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And another band I'm really into now, Life Signs. So much that I've now put their albums on my iPod. I think they're brilliant. And the live album is absolutely stonking. Absolutely brilliant live album, that is. But my mission now is to find this really obscure prog. Oh, Manchester Mixtape. You're out there, kid. I've heard of Flying Colours, but to be quite honest, Ralph, I've not heard much of their stuff. Well, there's I mean, I like Transatlantic, of course. What a drummer! What a drummer! He's got his fingers in so many pies. And of course, John Mitchell. I love anything John Mitchell does. That's why I'm enjoying doing this John Mitchell story, because that crosses so many boundaries. I had a count the other day. He's still accredited to about 3 bands. I think I have. Steve Morse. Hey. All I can say, that chicken's foot has really whacked out Rocky. He hasn't barked once tonight. He's fast asleep. Oh, he's not asleep. He's woke up because he heard me saying your name, didn't you? Oh, I know what's up with you. You want me to move that back? Yeah. Read. I wonder he's looking at me gone out. Moved his thing. That's the chicken foot band. Yeah. I think wrong a bit of chicken foot, is there? And a chicken foot for a chicken shack. I like the band Chicken Foot, although it's not a real band, is it? It's a made-up band of all Sammy's mates, which is good. Well, this beer's gone down too well tonight. Let's get some more of that. It's quite nice. How's the poll doing? Looks like Vangelis is in the lead. You see, the other thought that if you want some really early sort of proggy stuff, and that's Aphrodite's Child, which Vangelis was in. That's pretty wild and hoopy. If you like your prog varied. Anyway, folks, I'm going to call it a night because we've been going on for an hour and 8 minutes, and I've got 1 or 2 things I need to do before I call it a day. So thank you for watching and joining in. Get your thinking caps on, guys, for the competition, the contest. And I'll have a definitive how we do this, because me being a virgin on contests, I don't know. But I'm sure I'll get lots of help setting this one up. So we'll take it from there. So have a good week, everyone. Tomorrow, what have I got for you tomorrow? Well, Arena Part 2 of the John Mitchell story. So if you like your prog, bit of prog tomorrow. And we're going to be looking at the new album by the Black Star Riders, Wrong Side of Paradise. So that's what's coming up. Don't forget to tune in on Saturday for McCook and Skinner. And I'll see you all next week. Once again, thank you very much. Good night. Elvis is leaving the building. Bye for now.